Seven deadly sins. It's a concept that I can't honestly recall how I learned about it. I think maybe through pop culture, through media, just through general life in society. You pick up these ideals, right? And I actually like it. I like the idea of seven deadly sins because it makes it easier for us to categorize the mental states that plague man and womankind's existence: greed, lust, gluttony, pride, wrath, envy, sloth. These are things that, if left unchecked, will throw you off your game 100%. I think, everybody struggles with at least one of these. Maybe two, maybe three, maybe four. But the idea is, A, to take accountability in knowing how you got there with regards to the sins you feel like you partake in or that maybe have rule and dominion over you. Like, first have accountability to know, oh, I have a problem. So in knowing that, I did a little research. We checked the files because seven deadly sins, I think, is believed to be something that has originated from the Bible. But when I looked it up, and I'll read y'all exactly what the search engine I'm using is saying. The seven deadly sins are pride, greed, wrath, envy, lust, gluttony, and sloth. They represent vices that can hinder spiritual growth and lead to further sin. Early Christian tradition from monks like Evagrius Ponticus and later Pope Gregory I and Thomas Aquinas codified them. So I believe the first gentleman we named, Evagrius Ponticus, is the one who came up with the idea, right? They say he's a 4th century monk. He proposed a list of evil thoughts to help monks avoid temptation. Now, it originated as, I want to say, hold on here. Let's get it together. So I'm looking at Wikipedia, right? A lot of information in here saying this is a big part of the Catholic philosophy. And one thing you got to understand, philosophy, listen to the word philosophy. Philosophers tell you how they feel. They study, they experience, they tell you how they feel. It's their philosophy. We got to separate philosophy from biblical scripture. And we're not going to get into every detail, but long story short, the seven deadly sins did not come from the Bible. They came from monks. And as I go deeper into this rabbit hole, you find that there was originally eight sins, and it was called, hold on y'all, bear with me, let's get it together. Well, 15 minutes later. Why am I like a Jamaican SpongeBob character? I don't know what that is. I don't know what I was doing. So originally it was the 8 evil thoughts. And then the Pope came around and said, you know what? I'm going to make it 7 deadly sins. Pope Gregory the First. So in the 4th century, Evagrius Ponticus came up with the 8 deadly thoughts or 8 evil thoughts. Pope Gregory said, all right, we're going to remix it one time. And now we remember the remix. We don't even remember the old list. The original list included sadness on it. Long story short, knowing these 7 deadly sins, and even if we want to account for sadness here, there's ways you can exercise or work towards cleaning some of these elements of your life up. So, I mean, I comprise a little list. I put a little something together. Because we're not striving for perfection. We're striving for getting slightly better. Change over a long period of time is growth. So we're not striving for the mountaintop immediately. We want to take the first step and the second step and keep going. So with pride being an inflated sense of one's accomplishments, my recommendation would be to read a biography or autobiography on a particular historical figure. Because if you're wrapped up in what you've done, what you've contributed to organizations, what you've created, whatever level of success you've achieved, while it's great to be confident, you want to make sure that your pride doesn't put you in a space where you've lost touch with reality. You're unable to showcase humility. These things become spiritual hindrances, and you get detached from reality. And I mean, then you run around like with a big head. Oh, Mr. Big Head. If you ever watch Rocko's Modern Life, shout out to childhood. Read an autobiography or a biography about an individual. One of my favorites was the biography or the autobiography of Malcolm X. Fantastic book. A lot of it was used to create Spike Lee's masterpiece, Malcolm X, with Denzel, of course. But I say all that to say, there's plenty of historical figures that you could go do a little research on and learn about their lives. Learn about the struggles that they overcame to get to the positions that they ultimately reached. It gives you perspective. It helps you step outside of your reality when you could dive into a book, the story or stories about other people's lives, to at least help stabilize where you are, to understand you're a cog in this giant wheel of life. Be humble. Sloth, which is laziness or lack of effort. Sloth is a tough one because we all like to relax, rest, recover, all those good things. And shout out to the brothers that created this brand, but I like the idea of like earning your leisure. I fully believe in making sure you take enough rest to recuperate to be able to put forth your best effort in whatever your endeavors are. But you got to put forth that effort. And the recommendation I would make, something that boosts all types of hormones in your body, multiple. I'm not going to name dopamine, serotonin, all the good stuff. Yeah, the good stuff. Take a walk. And you can set that walk up however it serves you. I mean, you can go get a gym membership and walk on a treadmill. Look at the TV, put your headphones on. You can even get like an iPad or something. Watch Netflix and walk. But whatever you do, walk to counteract that sloth. Because it's an easy way to get started exercising, because walking is a form of exercise. And if done long enough, with enough effort, you'll change your body, but you'll also change your mind. There have been studies to show that brain activity fires more rapidly after a 20-minute walk. So take a step, literally, walk to counteract sloth. Next, greed. Now, we live in a culture where you really could hop on your mobile app and order whatever thing you love and get it delivered to you. You might pay a premium, but you can get it. We have access to all types of fast food, all night fast food, access to everything. So yeah, you can become a glutton, but gluttony doesn't only refer to eating, like to consuming food, it's to consuming things. All. You watch too much TV, right? You listen to too much of a particular genre of music. You eat too much queso. And we all love queso, man, but you can't run your whole life off queso. I know people that have tried. Okay, so what I'm saying is for for gluttony, conquer a craving like in a single day. A day might go by here in Atlanta and I think, man, I want a slice of red velvet cake from Sammy's Cheesecake. And I'm going to give them a free commercial. You come to Atlanta, they're only 10 minutes away from the airport, Washington Road, Sammy's Cheesecake. Definitely try it. But don't make it an everyday part of your diet. Bars. But sometimes when I crave that cake, I love it when I get into the mode of, yeah, you know what? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Job's not done. Shout out to Kobe. Job's not finished. Job's not done. Conquer a craving. You want a slice of pizza in a day. Oh, I just want pizza today. I just want fast food for breakfast. Identify that want and eliminate it. It's out of here. I'll do it tomorrow. Matter of fact, I'll do it next week because I'm in control. I'm not being controlled. That's the thing about food and entertainment. Like these things can control you. So you get that craving. Nah, I'm good. I'll pass on that. Lust. Lust. We're humans, right? I would say for lust, maybe unfollow those baddies on social media. Give yourself a break because the reality is back in the day, and when I say baddies, that goes, men, women, whatever individual identifies as something that becomes lustful content for them. Reduce the intake of that. Maybe just don't go onto the social media platform for a day, 2 days, a week. The reality is we're overstimulated. Never before, at least in recorded history, have people been exposed to so much stimulus in the form of endless streams of content from wherever they want. Endless access to whatever they want, whenever they want, at least digitally. But the reality is digital access can manifest into physical access. These are all layers of where we are in life right now. But my recommendation for lust is at least expose yourself to less content that you find lustful. Back in the day, you were in a small town or even in a city. You didn't see baddies every day. You might have seen a baddie once a month and her name was Charlene. And you seen her at the post office. Do you know how many things have to have had happened where you went into the post office the same time as Charlene and identify that, hey, Charlene, yeah, Charlene is like that. Scarcity creates a greater appreciation. So let's make some of that content a little more scarce. It takes time, but I have faith. I have faith in you. We covered pride. Read a biography or autobiography. Center yourself. Really understand a world greater than yourself in diving into that book and reading from somebody else's perspective about their life, etc. We didn't cover wrath, uncontrolled feelings of hatred and anger. Now, this is a tricky one, man, because haters are just going to hate. I think that's a philosopher said that. I don't know who. Haters going to hate. Anonymous. You really can't stop that. But for the hater, it's tough. Hate is really the misappropriation of love, right? Like somewhere in there's a distorted view of love. If somebody, in fact, is a hater towards you, there's something they envy, which is another deadly sin we didn't tap into. And envy and wrath really kind of go together because one being envious of another could lead to wrath. So those are really connected, and I will provide a solution for both of them in creating. Put your focus and energy somewhere else, because you're focusing too much on what this individual has going on when really you should be creating for yourself and improving that creation. I don't care what it is. Like, go learn how to make cinnamon rolls. Learn how to make, perfect hard-boiled eggs. It's a great source of protein, fat. They call it a superfood. The late, great Big Pun said, "Go that way." In reference to a hater, come on. So wrath, envy, I'm packaging those together, 2-for-1 special. If you feel like you're in that bag, you probably hating on me now. And it's okay, because I love you. And what I want you to do with that feeling of hate is put it towards creating something that you enjoy. Something beneficial to the world. Something that improves the vibration of where we are, as opposed to shifting in another direction. Wrath and envy, 2-for-1 special. Go create something. Switch from consumer mode, where all you do is consume, so all you can do is react. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you're hating. It's okay to critique things. We know when the hater's hating. Switch from consumer mode, go create. We talked about gluttony. Eliminate a craving, delay gratification for something that you really want. We talked about lust. Log out of the socials for a week. Expose yourself to less content of lustful nature. We did the 2-for-1 envy and wrath special. Switch from consumer mode, go create something. Continue to do that. We talked about pride. Read a biography or autobiography. Learn something about something greater than yourself to get a better understanding that this thing is going to keep spinning. Yeah, it's going to keep spinning, at least as far as, still spinning. The world was supposed to end a long time ago, according to many. Still here. Still keep going. The one final 7 deadly sin we didn't tap into yet is greed. I think, when you speak to bring it all home, the vibration of Earth right now is definitely in a greedy space. Chase the bag. All the energy is pushing towards acquisition of more, even if you have a lot already. And not to get too deep into it, but it's why the world is the way it is today. People are very greedy. And you can easily cite any of these other deadly sins and see how those spirits are dominant in society. Pride, sloth, greed, envy, gluttony, lust. These are things that if you really look at the state of the world, especially from a global standpoint, when you get into geopolitics and such, it's dominated by these themes. I mean, uh, think about those files that were just released. That's in the lustful bag. That's in a you can get into pride, the ego, the belief you could mistreat people at that level. Yeah, like we getting, yeah, we didn't plan to go here, but that's where it's going. Read the news and tell me how many headlines don't correspond with these 7 deadly sins. So again, we're making this video in an exercise of self-improvement, knowing where we are in society. No, this did not come from the Bible, but it's of biblical, not origin, but inspiration. I think it tracks well. Even if we add sadness as a 7th deadly sin, I mean, there's so many things you could do to try to bring yourself up out of sadness, but sadness has less to do about harming others. And sadness, you can harm yourself with sadness as well. However, I think these 7 deadly sins, and maybe this is why Pope Gregory decided to revise the list, you can control these sinful ways a little more than you can control sadness. Maybe that could be up for debate, human psychology is tricky. With greed, because we went on to a long walk around the park. Shout out to Jill Scott. Long walk. We took you know what I mean? Because I rock with y'all the long way. We took a long walk. Now we're back. Greed. I say feed a person, right? Feed a person. There's so many bills. Everybody could probably afford to feed somebody a $7 meal. Not everybody. I'm speaking in general. But if you've got enough food to go get yourself a $30 plate from Red Lobster, you could certainly spend $10 to help a certain person just get a hot meal, especially in the cold weather. I like the idea of tithing. If that 10% isn't going to a religious organization, why not put that 10% to use in the real world if you're really outside? There's so many opportunities. It's tough. 7 deadly sins. Interesting concept. I think it tracks well. You can look at society and see it's everywhere. But with the information I provided, which is nothing original, right? These are all things I picked up in my journey and learning and understanding, overstanding. And even when I say that, that's to represent 360 degrees of comprehension. I get it. I feel you in your philosophy. So shout out to Evagrius Ponticus, man. Maybe that's where the word pontificate comes from, to get real extra Websterly. Pope Gregory, he remixed it, and because the Catholic Church is pretty resourceful, we learned about it at some point in life. And I think it's a good learning to apply the framework to your life and assess where you sit within all those different sins. Self-reflection is taking accountability and is being intentional about your spiritual growth. Bars.